Kevin looked at the iris scanner and rang the buzzer. A moment later, he heard Jade's voice on the intercom.
Kevin, come in.
The door to the high-rise apartment slid open and Kevin entered, to find himself surprised to be in an opulent lobby. He had never been in an apartment of this quality. A laser projection of a waterfall roared, and lasers tracked his face, projecting one image in one eye and a separate one in the other, giving him a binocular three-dimensional image. It came with an actual mist driver so he could feel the humidity and smell the fresh water. A rainbow appeared in the mist above, and he heard and saw the squawks of parrots and other tropical birds that flew through it.
Kevin Wood, welcome to River's Edge Apartments.
He never quite got used to being called by name by an auto-greeter. He entered the elevator.
Kevin Wood, next stop, 18th floor.
The customized elevator music played a tune from the mid-20s, but he couldn't quite remember the lyrics or the name. How did it go? You climb mountains to the clouds, pushed by the vacuum behind, the sky is blue and the wind so loud, escape is all in your. He tried but couldn't remember the rest. It was not like him to be nervous about meeting a woman. After all, this was just a business proposition. Jade opened the door.
Come in, buddy.
She tied a ponytail on one side and her striped thigh-high stockings matched the pattern on her sleeves. Her black leather top with a schoolgirl cape and tie matched her short shorts. She looked like a living manga character, complete with pools of light filling the bottoms of her eyes.
Sorry, I was going to take a slipper to work today, so I got dressed for work here.
She said while opening her arms to her outfit. Her expression changed from cheerful to bashful.
Oh no. It's fine.
He tried not to stare too long at her body.
You look great.
Nodding his head rapidly after he spoke. She ducked back into the bathroom.
I'm almost finished my nails. I'll be out in a minute.
He walked up to the floor-to-ceiling glass wall facing the river valley. He stood almost touching the glass and looked at the ground between his feet. Long shadows blanketed the field, leaving the skeletal trees as one-legged sentinels in front of the building.
I'm glad you finally made it here.
She called out from the bathroom, her voice sounding distracted.
Yeah, me too. I get so wrapped up with my shit, I forget to get a life.
He laughed.
Nice place.
Thanks. I know what you mean. So, what have you been doing lately?
I got a new case, a big one.
Cool, bud, that's great. You look like you aren't too thrilled about it.
Ah, well, it's just that I'm going to need some help and I usually work alone.
Okay?
Okay, so I was hoping we could work on this together.
He said as fast as possible.
There, I said it.
Really? Are you serious?
She said with a chuckle. She was smiling with amusement and astonishment, then her expression shifted to serious.
Don't take this the wrong way, but why me?
You have amazing skills, and I would like working with you. I usually don't play well with others, but I think we'd make a great team. Besides, I have a big expense account to pay you.
What's it about?
They sat together across a clear glass table and Kevin noticed her nail attachments. They were solid black with an iridescent halo.
It's your college boy again. This time, he got himself kidnapped. His father is richer than God and would pay anything to get him back. He sends his regards, by the way.
Was it his idea to hire me?
No, not at all. It's 100% my idea, and he didn't even know I was going to ask. I told him as little as possible, but he knows how you rescued his son. He probably knows more than he lets on.
What do you want me to do?
It depends. We could split up canvassing people or work together, depending on our skill set, I suppose. It depends. We could split up canvassing people or work together, depending on our skill set, I suppose.
And what skill set do you think I have?
You have instincts that are borderline supernatural. You have cat-like reflexes and are an ass-kicker par excellence. But more than that, you have people skills.
Jade looked hard at him for a moment, then snorted a laugh.
You think I'm an ass-kicker with people skills?
Yeah, people like you. They open up to you, and you would be great as an investigator.
Okay, but being an ass kicker is not really part of my, career objectives.
Let's hope it never comes to that.
The next day, they were both at home and they joined each other in a video chat.
Alright, while I'm hacking Alan's phone account, you can go to the university and interview the witnesses. Here is a list of his known friends and classes from his father.
Kevin tapped his one to send the information to Jade.
After that, you can sweet talk/bribe security into letting us have a look at the video. Don't take the first no they give you. Information is only private to those that can't pay for it.
Kevin suggested the best way to contact witnesses would be for Jade to make a personal plea to his classmates for help. She contacted Alan's professors and received a quick reply, and a professor invited her to make an announcement at the beginning of class. That's great, she thought. It's the perfect way to connect with as many potential witnesses as possible. That sucks, she also thought at the same time. She was terrified of public speaking. What had she gotten herself into? She should tell Kevin this was a mistake, and he should look for someone else. Kevin, I hate your fucking guts. On the other hand, if she wanted to get a real job, these are the kinds of skills she needed. It would be a learning experience. But why did it have to be here? She would have to face the school she left in disgrace. She searched for a bromide. That which does not kill us makes us stronger.
That's it. Let's do this thing.
Jade wore her stretched denim pants with high boots with medium heels. She was going for a university student look, up a notch, professional yet approachable. She hung her jacket in the hallway and waited for the professor to accompany her into the class.
"Hello, you must be Jade,"
said the middle-aged man with a graying beard and kind, blue eyes.
Hello, Professor Pearson. Thanks for the opportunity.
"It's nothing. The McPherson family has helped us so much, it is the least I can do. Let's get started."
Pearson opened the door for Jade. She had a bitter taste of electricity on her tongue, and her legs felt like they belonged to someone else. Holy shit. I thought this was a classroom, not a theater, she thought to herself. Jade could feel their eyes like laser beams and sense the energy from each of them as if 200 people were yelling at once. The young students, just a couple of years younger than her, some bored and cynical, some talking amongst themselves, others looked at her, wondering what this unusual announcement could be about. All the trouble she had in university came flooding back to her as she approached the podium. Her palms were sweaty, and her heart was pounding. She was afraid she would freeze up. Think happy thoughts, she told herself.
Thank you, Professor Pearson, for allowing me to make this announcement,
she said with a quiver in her voice. She felt like the ground was going to open and swallow her, and she wished it would hurry the hell up. She felt like her body switched to autopilot and she heard herself speaking.
Most of you know your classmate, Alan McPherson, was kidnapped 2 days ago on this campus and I'm working to find out where he is and get him back. His parents are worried to death, and they are asking for your help.
She was surprised she had not yet lost control of her bladder or something just as humiliating. She displayed home video, security video and stills on the big smart screen to jog their memories and explained what she knew about his last known location. She could see their expressions change from puzzled, to interested, and then to sympathetic. She was getting through to them. Her worst fears did not happen, and she gained confidence.
Alan and I met before, and I can honestly say I would stop a bullet for him. But I need information. Maybe you noticed people lurking around. If you saw the kidnapping, or anything at all suspicious, please let me know. Call or email me. Anything you say will be confidential. Professor Pearson has agreed to post my contact information on eClass, so if you think of anything, let me know. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Professor Pearson.
"Thank you, Jade. The McPherson family has been a big benefactor of the University of Alberta for many years. You may have noticed the McPherson name is on the new engineering building. We owe so much to them. If there is anything you know, please contact Jade. Thanks again for coming."
Jade smiled and turned to leave the lecture hall with the roar of applause behind her. She immediately went to the bathroom and freshened her makeup. Looking at herself in the mirror reassured her she had survived. She felt invigorated by the adrenaline still pumping in her blood. Next stop, the security office. From the entrance, she could see two security people at a service counter. A young male security officer was speaking to a student and a female officer was unoccupied and looking at a screen. She went back into the hallway and sent a text to Kevin and waited until the student left. She undid 2 more buttons on her blouse, put on a smile, and walked up to the male officer, and leaned forward and put her hands on the counter.
Hi, my name is Jade Yang and I'm working for the McPherson family. Did you hear about the kidnapping?
She handed him a card with her holographic picture, name, and number.
I was not on duty during the kidnapping, but we are all very familiar with the incident.
Great, the university has been a big help. I just spoke to Professor Pearson's class, and he was kind enough to post my contact information on their e-class.
She leaned forward a little more and showed him the image on her one, as well as a bit more of her cleavage. She noticed his pupils and his blue eyes widen and she gave her hair a little toss.
Nice,
he said, thinking he was referring to what Professor Pearson had done. His cheeks glowed.
His family would really appreciate copies of surveillance video in the area so they can find their son. Will you help?
Her expression looked vulnerable, her tone pleading.
We are not supposed to share video with anyone but the police, but there aren't enough of them to do anything anyway. I'll tell you what, my boss asked us to compile the video from the entire campus. I could let you have a copy, but you didn't get it from me. Got it?
Got it.
Jade winked and gave him a dazzling smile. He began tapping on the display. Jade twirled a lock of her hair around her finger. He paused. He tapped again with more force. His expression changed to near panic.
Hold on. Shit. It's gone. Not just gone, it's deleted. I just put it there an hour ago and now it's gone.
He turned and glared at the other security guard. She avoided eye contact but looked guilty like someone who just produced an unexpected and sulfurous fart. Her bleached hair was wrapped tightly around the crown of her head, leaving a ring of dark above her hairline. She sat bolt upright, and the Velcro on her uniform strained against a body grown too large to fit.
Isn't there a backup somewhere?
No. It wasn't just deleted, it was purged. There is no backup anymore. I can't get it back. My boss is going to be so pissed off.
What about the original video, before you compiled it?
Let me check. His voice clung on to blind hope for just a minute, before. No. Purged too.
Jade couldn't believe what she was hearing. It was almost in her hand and now it's gone. She dropped her vulnerable facade like a wet towel and she replaced her disbelief with smoldering, predatory rage. She dropped her head and let her hair fall in front of her face. Then she slowly stood up and marched toward the woman. She could feel the guilt radiating from her like she was a fresh, spit-roasted pig. She was trying to make herself look busy by typing on her display. Jade noticed a bead of sweat appearing on her upper lip and her eyes were wide with tension. Jade walked toward her, leaned forward with her fingers arched on the counter as if she was digging her claws into it. Jade glared into her eyes, close enough to smell her sweat. In her mind's eye, Jade shoved her arm down the guard's throat, making her eyes bulge like zits ready to pop. Jade felt the warm, wet feeling of her stomach and ripped into the thoracic cavity, feeling the tachycardia of the guard's heart. With one mighty tug, she ripped it out, still beating, and held it in front of her face, making the broken aorta and veins wiggle like noodles, and spraying blood everywhere. Jade enjoyed the guard's brief flash of comprehension before her eyes glazed over and she died.
May I help you?
The guard croaked. Jade paused her reverie and read her name tag out loud.
Adriana Beezer.
She could no longer avoid Jade, and looked at her like a doe caught in the headlights.
Yes?
She said like a bleating lamb. Jade pivoted and stormed away, her stainless steel heels clicking on the vinyl flooring.